Honey Badgers. It's been a minute since I've talked to you guys actually on camera. I've done a few community posts and some shorts uploads. I haven't been feeling that great since, like, I don't know, slightly before Christmas. I was having some, I made a community post about it, talked a little bit about it, where I was having some pretty heavy fatigue and joint issues and stuff, and so it just seemed to be getting worse, and my sleep started to get affected, and I just sort of hit a energy wall of not being able to do much of anything, let alone record videos. So I just took some time to try to get some more sleep in, try to get my energy back up. I was posting the shorts, so at least something was going on the channel. But yeah, I had video ideas set in my head, and things that I had ready to go to film, and then other things I had to edit. But my body just didn't have the energy to take care of it. So yeah, I just, did the adult thing and put my health first. And like I said, tried to catch up on sleep, tried to get some more vitamin boosts in where I could, until I started feeling better, which today is really the first day that I've kind of started feeling a little bit more like myself. I feel like today I'm probably at about 75–80% after a good long while. So I'm coming back around. I've still been taking it kind of slow here lately. So yeah. I guess hello again. I was working on this project today. It's probably pretty visible through the camera. The sun is starting to go down in front of my window, so I'll probably have to lighten this video up in editing, but this is a pretty basic canvas as far as the design. I like the design, but as far as the image, it's, let me show you if I can get, there we go. It's basically just a wall of daisies with a little bit of blue sky and clouds in the background. I had been working on the Josephine Wall thing for a while, and I'm just about done with the second row. So I've got a good little part of the main girl's head done. And what I'm thinking is I'll do another whip and chat for the Josephine Wall project when I get closer to the middle, which is really, I only have about a square or two before I'm pretty much dead center in the middle of that canvas. And I figure when I get to that very middle square area, I'll probably do another whip and chat for that, so you guys can see the progress. And it's kind of funny looking at it, because just the little bit of the main girl's face that I'm seeing, I do like the overall look, but because of the ABs also go into her face. So I'm hoping when I do the rest of her face, it'll balance out, but the little bit that's showing where I've done, it's looking to me a little bit like a girl that got home from a rave and she's really tired, so she's going into like her other personality where she's just like a cozy little reading homebody, but she's still got glitter all over her face. I don't know. That was just my first thought when I saw the first little glimpse of it. I was like, she looks like a rave girl that fell asleep on the stairs with a book. I don't know. Like I mentioned in one of the other videos, one of the other updates I did for that canvas, where I said, however it turns out, I think it's just going to be an interesting piece to look at, because the stories my mind is going to come up with, it's crazy. I do like it though. I do find interesting things to pull out of it as I'm working on it. So I figured I would do a little bit of a whip and chat for this one. I don't know how long it's going to be, because I don't have like a super lengthy topic to talk about per se. But I did, with the new year and everything, I did have kind of an idea of something to talk about today. But I thought while I was talking, I could kind of, I had a little bit of a, it's not really an issue, it's just something I run into every so often with canvases, where, you work on canvases and you look at how the coloring is laid out on the key, and then you look at how it goes on the drill field and you're like, no, I don't think I really like how that's probably going to end up. And so you have to make a, you know, sort of an artistic edit. That's kind of where I'm at with this one. I've run into this a few times when I've worked on daisy canvases that have like the sky in the background. Not so much when it's daisies in like a vase or on a kitchen table or, you know, that kind of tablescape look, but when it's in nature with like a blue sky background or something like that. I've run into this a few times where for some reason it's graphed. I don't know, hopefully you can see this, but like the A symbols on the petals there and then the A's in the background sky, that's all the same color, which is this 3756. Is that the, I think that's the DMC code, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. This this particular canvas, for some reason it didn't come with DMC codes. It just tells you how many drills are in each packet, which is not nearly as helpful to me as the DMC would have been, but whatever. DMC is not a deal breaker for me necessarily. It is kind of helpful though. But yeah, so the concern I had was that since the A's, which is all this one color, are both in the sky and the petals, I was worried that the petals were going to be a wash with being the same color in the sky. So basically what I'm doing with this one is I have all these little leftover sacks of whites and neutrals and things. I think I just might have accidentally dropped one on the canvas somewhere. There might be a hole in one of these. Anyway, I'll figure that out. But yeah, I have all these leftover whites and sort of cream colored neutrals left over from other canvases that I had piled to the side. And I also pulled out my jar of spare 3865 from past kits that I've finished. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do, and I already started it in this corner, is I've been working a mix of more whites and creams in the petals, just so it's broken up a little bit with where the sky is. So the pattern I'm kind of working with in my own head is, you see how these squares over here, there's big blocks of it, where it's long lines where I can multi-place. I've been going through and using the spares I have in this pile, and then when I get into areas, and this is just for when I'm working on the petal areas, once I get into the sky I'll just do it as it's graphed, but just for the petal areas. When I get into areas where it's just like one singular A, because it's also mixed in with these E's, and the E's are this sort of aqua green color for the blue of the sky. So when I get around those, it's all sort of mixed together, even down here towards the bottom. So whenever I find an area like, let's see if you can see it right there. In that corner there's a few spots where it's just like a singular A square. When it's just one square by itself, then I'm going in and going, oops, oh, there's a piece of plastic stuck in there. I'm going ahead and using the, it's not the 3865, what is that called? I have a spare jar over here, hold on just a second. Yeah, it's 3756. This is my spare jar of what all these packets are. So once I'm done with this kit, all these spares will go into this big old jar. And it's that sort of minty, if I didn't say it before, it's that sort of minty white color. It's mostly white, but when you kind of look at it with a lot of the drills together, it has a sort of very light mint green tone to it. So that's what I've been working on. The white and the minty white color, or the minty white color and this sort of aqua green color, those are the last two colors on this canvas. There was a good bit of confetti doing the stems and the centers of the flowers, but overall this kit only had about, oh, it says right there, 19 colors. And for anyone curious, I want to say this was an Amazon find from a while back, but I can't remember for sure. I will try to see if I can track it down, and if I can, I will link it down below. But no promises, because I'll have to look it up in my inventory books. I'm not 100% certain remembering where this one came from. I thought I would just kind of share my process on this one, kind of explain it, because I've noticed a few of my newer subscribers lately have mentioned that they are new to diamond painting and are, you know, just kind of taking it all in and learning things. So this is by no means my way of saying, you know, I know how to do everything and all that. I've just figured it's just a method I use. If you can find something useful from it, you're welcome to it. If not, then I'm just here to keep you company, I guess. Either way works for me. So the general topic I was going to bring up today is just the idea of New Year's. I know, you know, we're still in that sort of hyped up sensation of a new year clicking over, and everybody's excited about the new start, fresh start idea. I know I'm pretty pumped to put, not that 2023 was awful to me. I've heard from a few of my friends that they had a really rough year. My 2023 wasn't necessarily really rough. 21 and 22 were pretty bad for me. 23 was more me still struggling a little bit with a few things, but it was starting to level out a little bit for me. So 2023 was more, at least for me personally, it felt more like the year where I took all of the hardships and traumas and, you know, adult growing pains, as I call them, things from 21 and 22, and sort of processing them all and figuring out what was the takeaway from all of that. And that's not to say that nothing bad happened in 2023. I still had stresses throughout the year, but I did a lot of you know, internal work on myself, or at least I made the efforts to. You know, it's baby steps process. You're not gonna get it overnight. There's no one magical book or one seminar or anything you can take in and be magically fixed. You're gonna have lapses no matter how much self-work you do. It's gonna be with you. I mean, if you're honestly making work towards being a better person, it's gonna be a process for you pretty much until the day you die. I would say. I think if it's not, then you're probably the type of person that's not bothered either way, and you're good the way you are, and you're going to keep doing what you're doing. And, you know, if that's working for you, that's fine too. But I would just say, if you are somebody that has struggled with things in the past, the way you've handled things, or the way life has seemed to present itself to you, if you have struggled in the past with the feeling that, like, you're just one of those people that life seems to shit on all the time, which I definitely went through those phases where I was just like, and I still go through them every so often, where I'm like, what am I doing wrong that this keeps smacking me in the face? When, you know, you can get caught up in your own head, and then you look at things, especially if you go online, you can look at things and be like, oh my god, everybody else seems to be nailing life, which is really stupid to get caught up in, because, you know, we all by now should know that social media is a very sanitized version of life. Well, at least most times. I do notice that it seems to fall into two extremes a lot of times. I mean, yeah, there are people that kind of fall in the middle here and there, but for the most part, at least when I'm online, I've noticed that a lot of people seem to fall into two camps. Either they're the oversharers, where they want you to know every aspect of their life, no matter how cringy. They just want, and a lot of it probably just stems from people just desperately wanting somebody to talk to. But sometimes you do see people where you're like, okay, maybe a little bit of a filter, maybe a little bit of an edit here and there would serve you wonders. Maybe we don't all need to be privy to everything. So they're like the oversharers, I guess. Not to, you know, knock them, but there are some people I see online where I wonder about, where I'm just like, why do we all need to know this? And then there are other people that present a very much sanitized look of their life, where everything is just sort of happy-go-lucky and you know, nice, I don't know, motivational memes and stuff. But then when you look at how they actually interact with people, it doesn't seem to match up with like what their actual profiles would have you think. Or you could see very happy, sort of sugary sweet memes or pictures of animals or something on somebody's profile, but then, you know, you might catch something like, I know when I'm on different social media platforms, every so often other accounts I follow, I'll notice one of my friends will have commented something on that post, or I think they even used to tell you that on Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook in quite a while, so I don't know if they still do this, but I remember a while ago Facebook used to tell you when your friends would comment on some profile or account or something, and it didn't even have to be an account you followed. They're just like, hey, you know this person and they commented on this. And I'm like, I don't care. Why? I'm not tracking them. Why are you telling me? But I do run into that occasionally, where it'll be an account I follow. This happens more to me now on Instagram, since Instagram and YouTube are usually the two platforms I sort of check in on the most. But every so often there will be an account that I follow where there might be a post that account does, and I'm not aware that like one of my friends also follows them, or maybe not even a friend, just somebody I know, and I'll see one of their comments on a post and I was like, oh hey, I know them. But sometimes it's, like I said, it's not a friend, it's just somebody you're acquainted with, and it's kind of awkward when you see something where they get into like an internet fight and you know one of the people and you're like, oh wow, that is not how they present themselves online at all. So yeah, I think that, at least in my experience, most people tend to fall into one category or the other, which, I mean, the sanitized version, it also kind of makes sense, because I always wondered, like, who wants to put their dirty garbage online? But then I think about the other side I just mentioned, where you have the completely unfiltered people who want to give you everything. And so I don't know. I think back to like a kid version of me that, you know, was a little bit prior to the internet really taking off. I was still, as a millennial, I was still in that generation of computers were just starting to really take off as far as like online usage and stuff like that. But we were still in that generation of our moms telling us to go outside and try not to get killed somewhere. And, you know, we were still sort of in that last generation of knowing to come back when the street lights came on, kind of thing. As a kid, I remember I was really quiet as a kid. Everybody always commented that I was shy, and I always tried to correct people and say I wasn't shy, I was just observing. And I was very much the type, and I'm still like this, I'm very much the type of person that I'm not really great at just running my mouth just because. I've just never been that wired that way. I generally have always been the type of person where if I'm talking, it's because it's a topic I'm interested in, or it's something I've observed, or I've put thought into what I'm going to say. I'm not to say that I can never talk off the cuff, but it's just, I don't know. I'm wired more to watch people for a while, genuinely listen to what they're saying, and then respond with genuine thought behind my response. And being like that as a kid, I remember being very confused by the world. because it's not that there's different types of people out in the world now than there were when I was growing up. I think we're just more aware of them now because they're everywhere. And we have easy access to them. And so, yeah, I remember, I just feel like it's a repeat of that feeling I had as a kid of being like, I'm very confused by just the human race in general sometimes. But I'm trying to roll with it even as an adult and be like, it's gonna make sense eventually, right? But I don't know, so, especially with the way the news is now, I still pretty frequently have that feeling of like, what is wrong with people? But anyway, I'm getting a little bit off topic, I guess. I was gonna ask just generally what your plans are for New Year's. You don't have to get super specific in the comments. I'm not trying to get up in your business. But just generally, I was curious to ask, are you more of a resolutions person? Are you more of an intentions person? I'm just curious. I hear both terms get thrown around this time of year. So I'm just curious which camp you're in, or if you're the type of person that doesn't give a damn and you're just, like I said, you like the way you are and you're going to keep on going with that. Again, I'm not judging. I'm just genuinely curious. I don't know. I was thinking about this earlier today, and I don't know if I've ever been a strong resolutions person. You know, I remember sometimes as a kid, did you guys ever, it's been a little while since I've been in school, just a little while. So I'm not sure how they do things now, but do you guys remember when, or did you have this in school where your teachers would give you, like they'd hand out at the beginning of the year, this is what they did in our school anyway, at the beginning of the year you'd have a teacher or two hand out like those composition style notebooks, and those would be like your journal practice writing books where the teacher would give you like a prompt to do to practice your writing and grammar and sentence structure and all that kind of stuff. And I remember usually with New Year's, typically the writing prompt would be like, you know, what's your New Year's resolution, or what's a goal you have for this year kind of thing, and tell me what your plan is and why this is important to you. So I think the prompts were also meant to sort of develop critical thinking in a way. But other than that, I don't really remember having an intense dedication to resolutions pretty much ever in my life. I mean, I've definitely had goals, but I was never the type of person that like, oh yeah, I'm set on losing, you know, like 15 pounds this year or whatever. Like, I just, you know, I was always more like, if it happens, it happens. I guess we're gonna see. I guess I always liked the sort of excitement and mystery of like, ooh, what is gonna happen? But as I got older, I definitely got more and more into intention setting. Intention setting these days is really tied a lot of, at least for a lot of people, to like, you know, when you get into, I guess, more, I don't want to use the term spiritualism because that makes me think of like Victorian, you know, ghost talking and stuff. But spiritual work, spirituality, that sort of thing. But a lot of times now, for the people that aren't sort of into that sort of topic, when you start talking about like spirituality and intention setting and stuff, there's a lot of people who like aren't into that, who immediately associate you with crystals and dream catchers and boho chic stuff, I think, and they sort of slap that label on to you and immediately stop taking you seriously. Which I will just say, like, I do not have crystals all over my house. I have a few pieces of crystal that I actually inherited from my great grandma, but I don't have, and well, I guess with the diamond painting, I have like those clear crystals. Not quite the same thing, but like, yeah, I don't have hippy dippy woohoo crystal stuff all over my house. I don't have salt lamps everywhere. I only go with the stuff that I genuinely find use in. And so far, like, I don't mind crystals. I think they're nice. I think they're pretty to look at. But there's a line in the movie Practical Magic where Sandra Bullock says something to the effect of, things have power because you put the belief in them, not the thing itself. So that's kind of how I look at it, is I don't really need those things to have, you know, things move in my life for me. I do intention journaling just because I feel like that's a good way to sort of solidify my mind. So that was one thing I wanted to talk about today. And this is just, I thought I would just mention this real quick. I can show you this because I haven't written anything in it yet. I have another one that looks just like this. That was my journal for last year. Obviously, I'm not going to show you that one because there's a lot of personal thoughts and plans and stuff I have in that one. But I haven't actually started this one yet. It looks identical to the one I've been working on since last year. But the reason I mention this is something that I started doing last year. This particular journal is actually made out of stone paper. So this is actually the wrapper it came with. It's actually called a stone paper composition notebook. It's by Gartner, this particular brand, but I think you can just go on Amazon or even walk into like Office Max or something and they probably have them in there. I think I got this one from Office Max if I remember right, but I'm sure like Staples or somebody has it. But yeah, you could also just go on Amazon and Google stone paper journals and you'll probably pull up a few different companies. So that's the information on this one. It has 100 pages in it, and it says here it's made from stone, tree-free, acid-free, natural paper products from all natural stone. Our treeless paper is produced without the use of water or bleach and produces no air pollution. So it's eco-friendly, tree-friendly, all of those things, which is great. Not why I actually picked it up, but oh God, okay. So the reason I started using these in my intention journaling is just the sort of mental gimmick, I guess, I gave myself of, you know, the saying, well, it isn't written in stone. Well, I figure if I write intentions in these, I am technically writing it in stone, which I know some people might be like, Angie, that doesn't mean anything. But, and you know, it's a trick you can play on yourself to, at least in my mind, it makes it more powerful for me. And like that idea, like I was saying, that idea of things have power because you put power in them. It's not the thing itself. So do I actually think I'm creating any special magic spell over what I'm doing? Not necessarily. It just, I don't know. It just, I think more it's that idea of like, okay, you're writing this in stone, so you're making it more powerful for yourself. You're making the intention stronger in yourself. You're dedicating yourself harder to what you want happen in your life. That's sort of my thought process behind that. And that's the thing with intentions and trying to manifest and stuff. That's one of the things that is encouraged, is that the stronger the feeling you put into it. And I'm not going to get into The Secret because The Secret really screwed over a lot of people. There's a lot that book series and that movie and everything, there's a lot of steps they left out. There are a lot of people they put in that movie where they're just like, if you just wish hard enough, and that's not technically how it works. There's a lot of other work you gotta put into it, as far as like you have to actually make movements in your life. You can't just sit on your ass and be like, oh gosh, I wish I had this mountain of money in my account, and think that it's just gonna show up the next day. You have to actually make ideas happen for yourself. The idea is that you're changing your mindset so that you're not always focused on the negative. And this is another area where people try to be like, oh, well, you're just blocking out reality and everything. I am very, very well aware of what reality is. I'm just altering how I focus on it, because just from my own experience, I've realized that if I focus on things with too much of a negative feeling around it, I'm not any good to anybody. If I'm just, because I know when my mind gets really heavy with stress and depression and things like that, I can't help anybody. I can't help myself. I'm going to be fixated on why is everything going wrong? Why does nothing work out for me? Why does it feel like everyone's turning on me? And when I'm constantly in that mindset, I can't come up with solutions for other people, let alone myself. And so the idea is, if I try to pull out the positives of situations, or at least try to focus on what positive could come out of a situation, or what solutions, you know, what can we do to better the situation, you know, kind of thing. I feel like it's just a matter of trying to be in a more productive mindset instead of being caught up in the dark cloud of everything going wrong. It's trying to focus on, like, okay, well, how can we help? How can we turn this around in any little way? And that's a lot easier if you teach yourself to naturally be in a better mindset, a more productive mindset. So when you're in that place of trying to train yourself to believe that whatever is going on, things that are going to come out of this, then you're creating more and more energy for good to come into your life. It's harder for it to come into your life if you are constantly focusing on, why is my life always shit? Or some variation of that. Because your brain is going to be focused on that. And if your brain is always focused on, why is my life always shit? How is your life, or how is your conscience ever going to see the good that is trying to smack you in the face with, you know, blessings? If you're always like, nothing works out for me, everybody hates me, might as well go eat worms. You know, there could be a big old welcoming committee basket of goodness right at your feet, but you're going to be focused on the dark cloud over your head. So the idea is to try to train yourself not to focus on the darkness so much that you can't see any light coming through the clouds. And when you finally train yourself, and it takes a long time, guys, like these videos I see sometimes that come up on my feed on YouTube where it's like, manifest anything you want in like 3 minutes. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. You have to get in the right mindset. You can't be in a shitty mindset and think that the money you want, or the person you want, or job you want, or whatever is just going to plop into your email in 3 minutes because you chant a mantra. Or you know, write something 26 times or whatever they have you do. It doesn't work like that. Like, you have to actually fix your internal shit before anything is going to turn for you. You have to own your shit and you have to fix it. And like I said, that could be a lifelong process, but as long as you're on the road to doing that, then things will gradually start coming your way. And I think there's a lot of people that give up because they don't get the dream job or the dream car or the dream person or whatever. It doesn't show up within a week of them writing out what they want, and then they're like, oh, this is horseshit. It's like, no, you have to take some personal accountability like anything in life. And so that was kind of what I was spending a lot of last year doing, is looking at all the stuff that had not gone quite so well as I wanted in my life, and trying to figure out, okay, well, what is my role in this? What could I look at doing better? What could I let go of? What could I make peace with? all that kind of stuff. And it was good because I started seeing, I mean, on one hand, it kind of sucked because there were a lot of things that I just went through a lot of nights where I was just really sad and purging stuff out and feeling like, oh my God, I'm never going to get over some of this stuff. And then, I don't know, I just had one day where I was just like, I think I'm over it. I think I've let go of some of this stuff. And gradually I started having more and more days like that. And so that's the benefit I've taken away from intention journaling. And that's what I do instead of resolutions. I don't beat myself down with resolutions because I just feel like it's too much pressure on yourself right out the gate of a new year. I think it's okay to start small, and instead of having a resolution of like, this is what I need to do in this amount of time or whatever, just, you know, make some happy lists for yourself, and don't put heavy pressure on yourself that you have to get it done. Just make it more like, hey, I would love to see this kind of thing happen this year, you know. It kind of makes me think of a couple years ago, shortly after my ex and I called it quits, and he had quickly gone off to his new relationship, and I was still in the midst of trying to, you know, pick up my heart out of the sewer and everything. You know, one of my friends had suggested doing the exercise of writing down what you wanted out of your dream person, and it still felt really early for me to be doing that. And they were just like, hey, what the hell, man? Just make out your dream list, whatever. And so I remember we were talking online one night, and I was just like, screw it. And I just got the bottle of wine and I think it was like a 5x8 index card, and I just started scribbling out, okay, like, if I could build the perfect, not shitty guy, this is what I want in it. And has that guy showed up at my door right now? Like, no. I've seen guys here and there that have qualities that I put on that list. Is there one exactly to my specifications that has knocked on my door? No. But I know he's on his way because I put it, you know, half drunk on an intention card. So I know he's out there brewing. He's getting ready. He's like, I know somehow God was out there and was like, I got you, girl. And so he sent his crew out there to go spot where that guy was and tell him to go get his shit together because Angie's about ready. And so, like, I know, like, I had some shit I needed to work out, and he's doing his thing, and wherever he's at, I know, like, we're gonna meet in the middle at some point. So I'm not worried about that. But, like, I didn't put a ton of pressure on it as far as, like, you know, okay, I wrote it down on a list, that guy needs to be here now. It's just like, okay, look, it would be cool if that guy could show up. That'd be great. And I'm still in that mindset of, like, that would be great if that guy could show up. But I also didn't put a lot of pressure on it because when I was writing stuff down, again, I was sort of thinking of the movie Practical Magic, where she puts all that stuff in the list and she's like, I made this list because there's no way this type of person could exist, and so now I don't ever have to worry about falling in love. And then what happens? Years later, that guy just shows up at her house in the most mysterious package of somebody completely unexpected. And she starts putting together, oh my God, that list I made years ago. And he's just like, hello. And of course he doesn't know about the list, but he finds out about it later. So, you know, you never know how stuff is going to present itself to you. Just know that if you wrote it down somewhere, if it's something genuinely in your heart that you want for the good of your life, if it has pure intention behind it, if you want it for the good of other people, kind of thing, there's no ill will, there's no greed behind it, kind of thing, then just have faith that it's going to show up at some point. Like I said, it might not be a week from when you wrote it down. It might not be from a month. It might take some time. It depends on where you are emotionally. It depends on how the world is and how, you know, because things still have to happen in a realistic manner. So, you know, if it's a job, things have to be moved around for that job to make sense to come to you when it does. You know, it has, like, if you're trying to get a certain house in a certain location, like, obviously that house has to be vacant. So you have to wait till like somebody moves out at some point, you know, like, just have faith that things are being moved around in your favor. Don't harp so much on the timeline. And I know that's hard because I still get frustrated with that from time to time, where I'm just like, what the hell, man? It's been a while, don't you think? But I try to have faith that if it's still this long, then I try to reassure myself that that means that there is still something that I need to work on, or there's something out in the world that is still being moved around in my favor. Perhaps I'm being held back for my safety in some aspect of something I'm going for. Who the hell knows? It's just, it is a matter of faith. And I think if you can't wrap your head around the idea of faith, you're going to have a hard time getting the blessing, I think. I don't know. I'm still learning all of this. I don't have a magical guru explanation that's, you know, perfectly going to make sense necessarily. But that's sort of where I am at this time of year, getting older, where I'm just starting to calm down about stuff, where I'm just like, you know what, I'm kind of curious to see where the ride goes, but I'm not going to be freaked out about it, because that never really takes me anywhere productive when I go in with a freaked out mindset. But since I've been working on learning how to, you know, not let the anxiety get to me and just tap into my native SoCal girl energy, where I'm just like, it's gonna be fine, whatever, it's gonna be fine. I'm joking, though. Well, not about the SoCal girl thing, but the accent. That whole vocal fry thing, that, I don't know, I think that came about more from TV than actual, I mean, yeah, Valley Girls existed, but the vocal fry thing, that we used to make fun of people that did that when I was a kid, and now it's everywhere, and people assume that's what all Californians sound like. And I was always really confused by that. But just the idea, though, of, you know, with that San Diego energy of like, it's gonna be all right, like, you're gonna find your answers, calm down, go have some tacos. So that's sort of the energy I want to go in, and not just this year, I think just from here on out, with like the rest of my days in general. I just want to be more chill about where my life is going. I used to be in a big panic as far as like, I hadn't gotten far enough in life. I hadn't made the, you know, 25 under 25 list or whatever. And now I've gotten to that age now where I'm just like, I'm not even bothered by that. Like, a lot of those people, like, okay, great, they made big professional advancements, but I don't know how happy they are as people. A lot of those people, they have great careers and maybe a lot of money in the bank, but how many of them have genuine people connections in their life, and, you know, somebody they can talk to every night, and that sort of, a lot of them have sidetracked that part. And I don't know, for me, I think having genuine people in your life that you can interact with and feel close to, and you can genuinely trust and be silly with, I think that's, at least for me, that's a bigger sign of soul wealth, I guess, than anything you could put in the bank, any professional mark you could make, because like you, as far as professions go, like you can do anything for professions. You can switch up professions. You can do anything with that. But like people that you can actually bond with and feel trust with and feel close to and all, like that doesn't come around all the time. So when I have that, that makes me feel more wealthy than, you know, whatever money comes in and out of my life, or, you know, professional accolades or something. Not that those don't feel good, but just saying from my personal experience, the having your inner circle right feels way better than just having a mountain of Scrooge McDuck money. Not that I would shy away from the money though. Like, you know, it's nice to have both too. If you can have like the Scrooge McDuck bank and a good tight circle, you know, all together. All the good things. All right, I think I'm starting to run out of memory space on my phone, so I guess I'll wrap it up here. So yeah, whatever your plan is for this new year, I hope it goes well. Hope it goes the way you wanted to. And yeah, just blessings to everybody. All right, guys, I guess I'll wrap it up. It's good talking to you. Bye, guys.